Hello everyone, this is Rosh from She Rewrites, and today I'm giving you a June debt update. I am $127,000 in credit card and student loan debt, and I'm trying my very best to get out of it as soon as I possibly can. So let's get started. I'm going to show you what my debt currently looks like, the payments I made in June, the payments I'm planning in July, and what my total debt should look like by the end of July. Now, just so you know, I do not work full-time right now. I'm unemployed. I'm looking for full-time work, but I do have 2 part-time jobs plus some seasonal work plus a workshop that I'm teaching that should all pay this month. So that's going to help me get through the gap a little bit. August will mostly be unemployment, and then hopefully I can find a full-time job by September, but if not, both of my part-time jobs will ramp up again, and I also get EI. So let's get started with showing you what that looks like, and yeah, we'll go through it. All right, I'm gonna pull up my laptop here, and hopefully we can make this work in a way that doesn't look awkward. It will probably look awkward, I'm sorry. Okay, so if I'm looking down, I am looking at my laptop, but it'll be up on the screen on that side, and you'll be able to kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay, so we are starting with my debt payoff tracking spreadsheet. This is the one from Lauren Miller's Etsy shop, and I use it to track the payments, and then I have a second one that I use to track my payoff date. So starting off, we entered June with $1,485.58 on the Scotiabank Visa, $9,821.71 on the RBC Visa, $24,100 on the student line of credit, $41,075 on the Alberta student loan, $40,755 on the federal student loan, and $9,910 on the part-time federal loan. The student loans are through the government and therefore are not currently being paid back because they're all on a repayment assistance plan based on my income, so we're not worrying about making payments on those right now. The 3 that we're focused on is the Scotiabank card, the RBC Visa, and the student line of credit, which currently totals to $35,407.29 as of the beginning of July. In June, I made payments totaling $200 to Scotiabank, $1,070.05 to RBC, and $366 to the student line of credit. That was additional payments on top of what was already charged in interest. So right now, I made $1,636 total in payments towards my credit cards. Of that, $1,245 went to the principal of those debts, and $391 went to the interest. The total debt paid off is not quite correct because I actually have mapped out the entire year of payments here with minimum payments, and then as I make additional payments, I put it on here. But if we keep up the way we've been going, it'll be much more. Right now it shows that I've paid about $5,000. By the end of the year, it'll be more than that. For the month of June, the principal versus interest, which you can see here, like I said, my principal was $1,245, my interest was $391. The minimum payments I'm intending to make towards my debts in the month of July are $100 towards Scotiabank, $500 towards RBC Visa, and $265 towards the student line of credit. That $265 also includes the interest because that loan is currently interest only. It's at an 8.2% interest rate. And so because I'm currently a student, I don't need to worry about paying back the principal, but I want to because the more of the principal I pay down, the lower the interest payment is. I have mapped out up until April of 2027 how much I'm intending on paying. I always intend to pay about $100 towards Scotiabank, but maybe more to get that down further and further. But the debt that I'm targeting the most currently is the RBC Visa, as that has the highest balance and the highest interest rate, which means month over month I'm paying about $200-ish in interest, and I don't like that, so we're going to eliminate that as soon as possible. Then I'll figure out which debt I want to target next. It could be possible that by the time I eliminate the RBC Visa, based on the $100 payments I'm paying towards Scotiabank, that the Scotiabank balance will be significantly lower, and that should also be one I can knock out really quickly. So right now, by the end of the year, if I keep using just the numbers I have in the spreadsheet, the Scotiabank Visa will be down to $809. Actually, it'll be down to $726. The RBC Visa will be at about $8,100, and the student line of credit will be down to $23,100. I keep my interest rates on the side here just to keep track of what the interest rate is, and then all of these cells have a formula that includes the payments made the previous month times what the estimated interest will, just to give me an idea of what my debt will look like on that day at the beginning of the month. So it's not completely accurate because I do make more payments and sometimes the interest hits at different times, but it's a good gauge of what my payments will do to those debts going forward. So now that we're done with that one, let's take a look at the debt payoff tracker. Now this is my tracker that I've made, and it includes this lovely dashboard. So this dashboard tells me what my debt payoff date will be based on the debt with the highest balance, and it includes the minimum payments. It shows how much I have left to pay off, which is $127,099. So slightly more accurate than the other one, but you know, we're getting there. Total debt paid off to date since I started using this is $1,640, and I've paid 1% of my total debt off so far. It does show the current balances of both of those debts, the Scotiabank Visa and the RBC Visa, and then down below it also shows the student line of credit, as well as the APR, the minimum payments, and then the payoff date. And this is the one that's most important to me, is to see how my payoff date changes as I make additional payments towards those debts. Right now, I make the most additional payments to the RBC Visa, and then we'll see where we go after that. But anyways, I hope that that was valuable to you to kind of see where my debt is sitting, what it looks like. I am making slow but steady progress right now. I don't have a full-time job, so that means my debt payments are much lower than they could be. My bills are also much lower, so that does mean I have a little bit extra. And I try to pay somewhere between $500 and $1,000 towards my debt, but I usually aim for the lower amount just in case the money I make that month isn't very much. I tend to make the most payments towards the end of the month when I see where I'm sitting. But my goal here is to get that Scotiabank and that RBC Visa completely cleared by September 2027, which is 15 months away. I want to start a PhD, and I don't want to do that carrying credit card debt into that program. If you enjoy this kind of content, please do like, subscribe, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. The sooner I can get 1,000 subscribers, which I've dipped below again, and get enough watch hours, I can get monetized, which will really, really help with this debt payoff journey. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!